I love buying used books because I'm cheap. No, we'll call it thrifty. Thrifty. Sounds better. Hey Booktube, it's Kim at Middle of the Book March, and I'm coming to you with another chatty video. I really like these chatty videos. I hope you do. This one is gonna be me talking about buying used books online. And so many of you out there watching already do this, so it's not like I'm giving you any instructions or pointers. You already are well aware of where you like to buy your books online used, if you do that. And I just wanted to talk about how I do it and what I do and why. So I thought I'd come on and talk to you about it. I am going to show you a bunch of books, but I'm not going to describe kind of the plots or the storylines in any depth. I just wanted to talk about where I purchased them, how I purchased them, how much they cost. I like talking about that. So let's get going. First of all, my favorite place to buy used books online is, ironically, my local used bookstore that has an online store. So this particular store is about half an hour from me, a little closer, 10 minutes from where I work. So it's really easy to pop over. But they also sell books online, so I can walk in and browse their used books. It's all used books. They don't sell new books. And so if I see a book that I'm slightly interested in, but I don't happen to buy it that day, I can mentally note what condition it's in. And then if I choose to down the road, I can purchase it online and they'll send it to me. And that's what I've done with the first book I'm going to show you. This is Caramello by Sandra Cisneros, and I just recently purchased this from them after reading The House on Mango Street, and I just loved her writing. And I had seen this book in their store months and months ago, maybe a year ago. And I thought, oh, I've heard of that book. Maybe I should pick that up. And I didn't. I saw it there a few times, and I just found some other things that I bought instead. And I think this was like $6. And eventually, after I read The House on Mango Street, I'm like, I'm gonna buy Caramello. But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get there. They're only open 2 days a week because the owner is semi-retired. So I thought I can order it online. That's what I'll do. This is a hardcover book with deckled edges, and the owner's wife will often take hardcover books and cover them with the Mylar covering like a library would do. And so it's in pristine condition. And the normal price of this particular book, this was several years ago. Caramello was published in 2002, so this is 20 years ago. At the time, it was $24. I think I got it for $6, and it's just in beautiful condition. The second one I bought at the same time, so they shipped both books to me, is Umberto Eco's Baudolino. Baudolino. And again, a hardcover book. It's pristine, doesn't look opened or read. It has deckled edges, and they put the Mylar covering on the book. Again, I think, how many times do I say again in my videos? Far too often. I think I've actually considered making my own drinking game over how many times I say again in my videos. This book was $27 original price, and it was published in 2000, I believe. Yeah, it looks like in 2000. But I purchased this one for a read-along coming up next year, and I just happened to want to buy Caramello, and I thought I'll look for an Umberto Eco book, and I found this one. So lovely, lovely purchases. Now, my next favorite place to buy used books is Thriftbooks, thriftbooks.com. Ironically, I found out about Thriftbooks through Amazon, because when I look on Amazon, what I actually do is I look at a book, and then underneath the pricing, depending on paperback or hardcover, there are a bunch of used prices. And so I always click on those, and I look at the vendors who are selling a used copy. And this is one of my techniques, or it's not a secret, but one of the things that I do is I'll open up the menu of all the different used copies. And what I am looking for is a book that says either like new or very good. At times, I have purchased a book that is labeled as good if it also says ex-library copy, because what that means is it was a book that was pulled out of a library circulation because it may not have been read very much or it's been around for a while. And that's what I did with this one. So the irony is, when I looked on Amazon, I found this used ex-library copy from an outside vendor. So outside vendors do work with Amazon to sell their inventory, and of course Amazon does benefit from that. But I like to purchase from the vendor directly. And that's where I found Thriftbooks. That's also where I found Better World Books, which I'll talk about as well. But this one is Monogamy by Sue Miller. And I've known of Sue Miller for many years. I've known about the book for a long time. I think I read her book, The Good Mother, years ago. This particular book was published in 2020. It's not that old. But A.J. Dunn of A.J. Dunn Reads and Writes just reviewed this book and absolutely gushed about it, loved it. And I thought, I'll go out and look for a good used copy. And I did not get this from Amazon, but I did get it on Thriftbooks, and it was $5, I think. This is an ex-library copy, so it has this library, has library stickers on it. It has that label on it. It has the Mylar cover. I don't see like any other library indications. A lot of ex-library books have the library name on the top pages. This one has a sticker right there. I like buying used library books. I love, again, deckled edges. I said again, because I like the cover. I like the Mylar cover on it. I once in a while will take it off if I can tell that it's easy to, because they usually tape them down really securely. So there's a piece, this one's actually glued. If this is glued to the book, I never try to take it off because it will rip the paper off of the book. But this is a gorgeous, almost like new copy from 2020 that, it looks like it's never been read. And I bought it for $5 or so from Thriftbooks. Again, Thriftbooks also has the like new, very good, good, acceptable. Once in a while, they'll have a book that has poor for the condition. Who buys those? I know that people do buy them because they're super cheap. But yeah, now let me see. There was a book I went out and looked for specifically in a used copy because this is extremely superficial, because I already had several other of this author's books in a particular style, and I wanted this one in the same style. So I had these 4 volumes of Iris Murdoch novels. They are A Severed Head, The Nice and the Good, The Unicorn, and The Sandcastle. They are all in these penguin orange spine editions. This is what the front looks like. And these are all used copies. Used and or bargain copies. The bargain ones usually have a remainder mark on them. So I wanted to get the C in the same style. And so I found this one on Abebooks. Abebooks is a division or a subsidiary or an owned company of Amazon. But I found this on Abebooks, and I was specifically looking for this style of cover, this artwork. I found plenty of used copies of the C, but they weren't this. And often when you buy used books online, you are buying the book, but not necessarily in the style that you're looking for. A lot of vendors will send you whatever copy they have. And a lot of times they'll have a stock picture, a stock image. That doesn't mean that's the book you're getting. That means they're just showing you what one of the books look like. And that's happened to me many times where I've bought a specific book thinking I'm going to get at least what looks like the one online, and a completely different book showed up. So I did find this on Abebooks, and I think this one was probably in the $8 range, but I did, and it's in excellent condition. It might be a little aged on the top. I don't mind aging on paperbacks, so really happy to find that. Another one of my favorite places to go is Better World Books. Better World Books has all kinds of books, classics, contemporary novels. They might even sell new books, I don't remember. But one of my favorite things to look for at Better World Books are Virago Modern Classics. And these are the Virago Modern Classics that are in green. Ironically, green is my least favorite color. But I don't know, I love how these books are put together. I love the aesthetics. And I hate that word because it's so trendy. But I really do love these books. Here's one of them. This is Winter Sonata by Dorothy Edwards in the Virago Modern Classics in this dark Kelly green. I think that's Kelly green. Between Kelly green and forest green. But Virago is a publisher that publishes works by women. And I love these versions. World of Books, you can browse by Virago Modern Classics, and it will pull up all kinds of Virago books. So that was one of many that I've purchased. Another one is Letty Fox, Her Luck by Christina Stead. And I also really like the artwork most of the time. You can't, they're not always the best, but I really like this one, in that green paperback. These two are a little aged. The pages are a little yellowed, but I honestly don't care about that. I do have some standards when it comes to used books, but I don't mind a little aging. This one's a little yellowing. I don't mind that. What are my standards? I don't want a book that's falling apart. I don't want a book that's moldy or mildewy or smells. Honestly, you can't really guarantee that you're not going to get a smelly book. And I've received a handful of mildewed books that I've either sent back, demanded a return, or asked for a credit, and the vendor has said, don't bother sending it back, just toss it or throw it away or give it away, I'll send you a better copy. And they have done that. I've always gotten great results from shipping issues or quality issues, and the vendors that I've contacted have always been really accommodating, so I've been lucky that way. Okay. One of my favorite things to buy used are classics, because quite often classics are either read once and then donated, or I can get very specific versions, just like the Penguin Orange Spine Iris Murdoch books. And I can get the certain editions that I love. And I don't mind, again, somebody count. So I don't mind yellowing or aging on the pages. One of my favorite used books that I've ever received, that I've ever purchased, is this copy of Daniel Deronda by George Eliot. I love this copy. I love the old penguins with the yellow trim. It has the black spine. Jack from Rambling Raconteur has a whole video conversation about what all the penguin colors mean. And, the yellow and what the red up here means. But I love this version of Daniel Deronda. And, it's a little aged. I don't care. The other thing that is kind of precarious when you order online is you never know if a book is going to have writing or highlighting inside. What I also will look for a vendor listing that says pages are unmarked, or a description may say pages may have highlighting or writing inside. I usually steer away from them. A lot of people don't mind that, but I do. I don't like that. I don't like being distracted by somebody else's underlining or writing, so I try to avoid that. And like my copy, these are little arrows that I put into Daniel Deronda, so that means I will never give this book away. I'll never donate that. Now, I did the same thing with some Jane Austen novels, and I found this copy of Mansfield Park in the penguin yellow trim. read. This one is a Better Worlds copy because of this version of a sticker, and these are very hard to get off. They're not removable. So the Better World stickers I leave on. I've tried to take them off, even with some help of like Goo Gone or something, and they always rip the paper, so I leave them on. But I really loved this version of Mansfield Park, and it's in good shape, but it was obviously really well read, or hopefully well loved. But there's all kinds of writing and underlining inside the book. And no, I can't. It's not that I can't deal with it. I don't want to. And I honestly don't really have to, because I can get a different copy. I didn't send this one back. I felt like, I'll hold on to it. Like all that kind of writing. I have a couple of other versions of Mansfield Park, but I was trying to kind of collect the penguins. That's okay. That's okay. Another version I really like are the Oxford World Classics. I love the older styles better than the newer one, although I do like the newer white Oxford World Classics. I have several of those, but I love this. This is Jane Austen's Emma, and this is kind of an older design, which I love. And I have several classics in this particular version. And aside from some aging on the edge, it's unmarked on the inside, and I really like it. I also look at the size of the font. A lot of the paperback classics have very tiny font. This one is kind of middle of the road. It's not bad. I have already read Emma. The only Jane Austen novel I haven't read is Mansfield Park. So, and this one I think was another Better World Books edition. Now, what else do I do? What I also tend to do, why I do this, I don't know. But if I read a book electronically and I love it, I often go out and look for a used copy to have it on my shelf. And I did that with this book, The Misremembered Man by Christina McKenna. She is an Irish author, and this is a very charming, sad, comedic story about two middle-aged Irish people living in a very tiny, isolated village looking for love. And this was set back in the days of personal ads that you put in the newspaper. And I thought, I absolutely loved it. I had such a good time reading it. So I'm like, I want that on my shelf because I read it on my Kindle. So I bought it from Better World Books. And then I also bought the second, The Godforsaken Daughter, and the third, The Disenchanted Widow, both of which are waiting for me on my shelf. But they're both, one of these is a Spokane Public Library version, previous library book, and the other one is a used copy from Better World Books. They're in wonderful condition. They're in, beautiful condition, unmarked, and I was very happy to find them. I think the used prices on those books was maybe $3 each. So yeah, why do I buy used? Like I said in the very beginning, my intro, I'm cheap. I like to be cheap. I like to save money. I like to support independent vendors. I love to support my local bookstore who sells used books in person and online. I love the feel of used books. I love a well-loved book, I love a little aging or even evidence that it's been read. When I got this one, it had a little fold in this corner. I don't care. It was clearly read and probably enjoyed. I absolutely love it, and I love this version. That's kind of why. I like to save money. I love to spend money on books, but I love to save money, and I get such great value. It's a gamble when you buy used books online because, like I said, you don't really know how subjective the quality labels are going to be. 5 people may think that like new means totally different things. And like new to me is you can't tell anybody ever read it. A vendor might think, oh, it's okay if it's got a couple of underlines in it and this and that. It's okay if it's got a fold in the cover. Well, no, that doesn't mean it's like new. It may mean it's very good, or it may mean it's good. So you do take a chance of whatever quality of book a vendor decides to send you. Sometimes I've gotten bad versions, or I don't almost never buy mass market paperbacks because they're just too small and hard to read. And I have received a few of them when I've ordered what I was ordering, a trade size paperback. Those types of things, but very rarely do I have mix-ups like that. I've had wonderful luck buying used books online. There are so many websites and opportunities. There's Discover Books is another website that I have used in the past, not as often. The prices are a little higher. The quality is also very good. Ex Libris is another one. There's one that begins with an A and I forget what it is. There's all kinds of places to buy used books. A really good place to buy used books if you're looking for vintage books is Etsy. I've bought several books from them, and those vendors are wonderful. I've not had one bad experience. They're usually individual people or shops, and they personalize their shipments, and it's been a great experience. You can buy a lot of books on eBay. eBay is kind of the spot where it's every man for himself. So you never know what type of a book you're going to get. You never know what quality of a book you're going to get. So I've often avoided eBay for buying books. That's it for me, I think. So let me know if you are in a regular habit of buying used books. Do you do it online? I think while COVID shutdowns were happening, a lot of us were driven online to do a lot of shopping. So let me know if you got into that habit or if you enjoy buying used books online and what your experiences have been. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.